Right, let's start Be'ez Hashem. Perek Chov Ches. We should be able to finish this one. I'm sorry about yesterday's quick run through Chov Zion, but it was just the most unbelievable Perek in all of Tanya. It's just like, whoa. It just hits home with like the Ganze Olam. It's wow. Let's move on. So we're still a little bit in that sugya. We were discussing until now the idea of when a person has hirurim or taivas that come to him b'shas in the middle of work, in the middle of a working day. Now what does he do? So now we're going to go flip the coin slightly and say azoi. So there he is. He's in the middle of Davening Shmoneh, so he's mid of, whatever it is in davening. He's mid of sitting and learning, he's learning the daf, whatever. And all of a sudden, boom, pops in this terrible image, or this machshava of doing some kind of crazy taiva, whatever it may be. He's in the middle of learning, in the middle of Davening Shmoneh, so like, what's going on over here? Al Yoshis Leiv Aleim. This is very important, Tanya. Do not respond to them. Don't give it any attention whatsoever. Ella, rather. Immediately, get it out of your head, pop it out. Now this, by the way, is a very, very big yesod. If you've ever heard of, by the Hasidim, they say a lot of loshon of mala nitzotzos, right? The Toldus brings it down, and others, this idea of being mala than nitzotzos, right? So the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh used to suggest, based on what he's saying over here, that if a person has a bad thought, if a person has an inappropriate thought that pops into his head, what should he do? So the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh used to say, what he should do really is to try to elevate it and reunite it with its source. Why? Because be'etzem, every single negative thought, everything that's negative, that's really not good, is actually rooted in something that's positive. So therefore, the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh used to tell people to try and elevate that thought, that inappropriate, whatever it may be, and try to bring it back to its source in that case, to try to lift the energy up to something positive. The Tanya, by the way, it says no. The sheet of the Baal Tanya is not that way, and he's telling you absolutely not. Al Yoshis Leiv Aleim. Be Masiach das from it. Don't get involved in it. Don't try to be mal and its and try to elevate it, whatever that means. No. Just get rid of it, okay? The Baal Tanya is not arguing with the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh. He's just saying the avodah that the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh was saying is for tzaddikim. It's an unbelievable thing, by the way. The Rebbe Remailach brings in Parshas Chaimos that sometimes tzaddikim get terrible machshavas only from other people in order to masakin them. I mean, they're not their own, they're from other people, but in order they're the only people that can masakin it. As I stated, Rebbe Remailach in Parshas Chaimos, right, 2 weeks ago. So Akaponim, so that's what he's saying over here, that's what the Baal Tanya is saying, right? If someone has a bad thought that we know it comes from his own, maybe it's something he saw, maybe it's something he spoke about, maybe it's something, whatever it may be. It comes from the left side of the heart that we've been speaking about all the way back at the beginning. Like, how's he elevating it to the top if he's still stuck down over here? Tzaddik is already all the way up over there. So mainly he can sort of malan and then it's so, but for the regular Yidden out there, it's not really so negaya. Okay. Avar peaking. This is very important. Al yipol liboy bekiboy lios mizeh otseiv nivzeh. Don't be down. Don't be upset that you're saying that basically, oy vay, it must be that my tefillah is so bad, or it must be that I am so bad that I'm getting these thoughts in the middle of davening. Don't say that. Because really a person has to be tremendously besimcha when he is doing an avodas Hashem, when it's davening or anything else, right? They say from the Heilige Chayza, the Chayza Lublin, right before davening, he would go over to a child and he'd give a lollipop. And that was his meaning that he used to do. He used to give a lollipop to a kid before davening. So I asked him, Rebbe, like, what's the pshat? What do you do this for? So he said, I'll tell you, when you give a kid a lollipop, the kid doesn't know anything. A little 3-year-old car smiles like anything. Got a lollipop. He said, Simcha is infectious. It goes from one to the other. I need to be besimcha when I daven. So I want to give a kid a lollipop, so he'll be besimcha. Mamela will make me besimcha. Mamela will make my davening besimcha. As is the Heilige Chayza. Akaponim is saying over here, person, don't get down that you're getting this machshava, b'shas, the avoida. Middle of Shemon Esrei, I'm getting such a thing. Don't be down from it. Should sorich lios besimcha rabba. Ela other rabba. Aha. Yischazik Yosef Oimis B'chol Koicha B'Kavana Tzvila B'Chet V'B'Simcha Yisera. Okay, try to, machazik yourself as much as you can in the simcha that you should have from everything that goes on over there. Because this idea that it pops into your head, this terrible machshava, comes from the klipa on the left-hand side, as we've spoken about. That makes a muchama b'beinani, which of alavai we're beinani, right? Im nefesh elekis shaboy. So realize an amazing thing, that if your davening, or your learning for that matter, was not worth anything to the Rebbeinu Shalom Chas v'Shalom, then he wouldn't have sent the Yitzhara to try and chap it, to try and get rid of it. There'd be nothing on the other side to fight it. Elamai, it must be that my Shemona Esrei, my davening, my Ashrei Yesh Revei Secha, my Daf Yomi, whatever it is so chosh of Klapei Shemaya for the Rebbeinu Shalom that there has to be something on the other side to equal it out. So forget, you almost be besimcha that you got that machshava to begin with. That's important. You say, this is how lemaisa, when a person's in the middle of a wrestling match and he's fighting. When one guy starts to put all his strength in and he's winning at that moment. That means when you're in the middle of a fight, trying to chop someone down onto the, to get him down to the floor, if he senses that you're putting all your koiches in it, he's going to put all his koiches into it. So it means if you're busy davening and you're learning and there's something on the other side coming along, that's a good thing, because it means you're doing something good. Remember that. In other words, when something bad comes into your mind during avodah, then you have to realize what happens is this is your animalistic soul, this is your nefesh bahamis that's trying to fight and conquer and win the nefesh and a kiss. Don't make the mistake that the Welt makes. They think, well, if I think about that during Shemona Esrei, it means my Shemona Esrei isn't worth much. Because if I was actually having kavanah in my davening, I never would have had these machshavas. That is the Welt's mistake. So the Heilige Tanya. If you only had one nefesh, there were not two nefashos, which he said in the beginning of Perek Aleph. There's only one, let's say, the same nefesh would also be davening and also be having these not appropriate thoughts. That's what would happen in that case. If it's the same soul that davens and has these thoughts, right, then it's either doing that or that. Right, as we've spoken about in Perek Aleph, it's two separate neshamas. They're both fighting and trying to conquer each other inside a person's head. Each one wants to conquer, as we've spoken about the idea of conquering the whole city, it wants to conquer the whole guf. That means the nefesh of the kiss lemaisa is dressed in the nefesh bahamis, and what we're saying is that the divine soul doesn't have direct access to the body. It acts with a medium of the nefesh bahamis, which is why a person doesn't consciously feel, he's not margish, that he has two nefashos. V'hu kimshal ha'adam hamispala b'kavana. So much of the guy davening b'kavana. V'oimen l'negda orel rosha u'mesem b'dabi imo gedele babloi. He's done with the kavanah, he's done with Shemona Esrei, and now Russia comes over to him, try to really distract him and get him to do all sorts of things, right? In the middle of the guy's Shemona Esrei. Everyone would agree that the Eitzah is to ignore the guy. It's not to respond to him. You make yourself like a mute. I don't hear anything, I don't know what he's talking about. The Apostle Mishlei, it's the same thing over here. When you have this machshava bad that comes in, this image, the machshava, the taiva, whatever it is, so don't respond to it. Leave it. Get rid of it. Because if you're going to be busy with the garbage, you're also going to be garbage. As we've said many times in different situations, when a person looks in the garbage, he finds garbage. Right? If you're oisik in that, that's what happens. Tanya, that's what it is. If you're going to respond to the image is going to come inside you and get a lot more intense. Make yourself as if you don't know. What if it's so difficult? I can't get rid of it. It's mamish there. It's like all the play. Humble yourself in front of the Rabbeinu Shalom. Daven to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Ask him to help you. That you shouldn't have these machshavas. Kirachim over abonim and imshachim b'moichai. V'kochi yirachim Hashem al nafsho mishachas v'ita yisborg l'tzidim b'mayim hazei doinim. These raging waters that are fighting within you. The Rabban Shem will help you if you call out to him. You daven him. So we've spoken about the idea of getting machshavas during a person's work and during choldika inyonim. That was Perek Chov Zayin. Perek Chov Ches is even during your avodah. Don't even think it's bad avodah. You're doing amazing work. Your davening is obviously so chosh of the Rabbeinu Shalom. Your learning is so chosh of the Rabbeinu Shalom. The first 8 says get rid of it, don't respond to it. The second 8 says daven to the Rabbeinu Shalom. That's Hashem. Next week, B'siyata D'Shemaya Perek Chov Tes.